In a garden in Alsace, France, rather out of place among the modern housing that surrounds it, sits an exact replica of a Japanese building from 1889. Outside, a small bamboo fountain trickles quietly, and the red leaves of a miniature Japanese maple frame the door. Above the threshold are 3 kanji, nin, ten, do. Inside is a low table on a bamboo floor, a desk in the corner, and an incredible sight: shelves and shelves of irreplaceable Nintendo history. Not consoles and carts, figures and toys and curios, though there are a few of those too, but instead hundreds of packs of playing cards, catalogues, signage, and advertisements torn from the pages of old magazines. This building, reconstructed from photos of Nintendo's very first shopfront in Kyoto, Japan, is the passion project of Nintendo collector Fabrice Heilig, and it houses an extraordinary collection of Nintendo history, some of it more than 100 years old. Before it became the House of Mario, Nintendo began life in the late 1890s, manufacturing and selling flower-adorned Hanafuda playing cards out of a small workshop just like this. There are precious few photographs of this original Nintendo headquarters, which was located between the Shosei Garden and the western bank of the Kamo River, over the water from the city's tourist-mobbed temples. Fabrice calculated the height of the building from the relative height of the local landmarks that can be seen in the background of those photos, and asked someone in Kyoto to physically go and measure the place where the shop once stood. After finding a perfect source for the style of the era, he imported the tiles and woodwork from Japan, and found a carpenter who shared his excitement about the project. Construction took 10 months. Like many collectors, I'm very familiar with the space restrictions that crop up sooner or later, Fabrice tells me. When my own collection started to pile up, I was looking for a solution to highlight it better. So I came up with the idea of building a little annex specially dedicated to my collection. When I was perusing some photos of one of Nintendo's first wooden buildings in Kyoto, which was sadly destroyed in 2004 because it was too old, I was inspired. Why not perfectly reconstruct the facade of this famous wooden building, which didn't exist anymore? This reconstruction could also give more meaning to the cards that would be exhibited there. During construction, there was always that small fear that it wouldn't look like I hoped, that it wouldn't have that old traditional Japanese spirit reminiscent of the era of Nintendo's card games. But it all turned out well in the end. Fabrice says that his neighbours and friends were a little taken aback at first, even though they were all well acquainted with his fondness for Japan. Looking at it, all they saw was a small Japanese-style house, he says. But after I explained exactly what this building was and its history, people were pleasantly surprised. Plenty of them had no idea about Nintendo's long history outside of the Zelda and Mario games. 2 unofficial items in his collection are a source of particular pride: the heavy green and gold plaques that sit on one of Fabrice's shelves. They are replicas of the iconic plaques that you can find outside the door of Nintendo's second headquarters, in Kyoto's Kagiyacho district, now a luxury hotel called Marufukuro, that contains its own small library of early Nintendo history. He had them recreated precisely from 7-kilogram blocks of aluminium, using a specialist machine, then had them painted. Underneath the words Torampu and Karuta, 2 Japanese words for Western playing cards, appears Nintendo Yamauchi. The origins of this name are lost to time. Even Nintendo's own historians don't know its precise meaning, and the kanji characters carry varied connotations. But one plausible theory is that the word derives from the phrase un o ten ni makaseru, meaning leave luck to heaven. Nintendo's founder was entrepreneur Fusajiro Yamauchi, a keen card player who started the company to make hand-produced hanafuda, small rectangular hard tiles made from wood, cardboard and paper, and illustrated with animals, flowers and objects, used in several different games. Hanafuda were, at the time, closely associated with gambling, and therefore with organized crime. The very word yakuza, the Japanese for gangster, derives from a losing hanafuda hand. Playing cards had been more or less banned throughout the Edo period, from 1603 to 1868. But authorities in the following Meiji period had softened towards them, which allowed Yamauchi's business to take off. Watada, another small Kyoto company, once printed playing cards for Nintendo, and to this day, it still prints its catalogs and game boxes. Nintendo also still makes Hanafuda, though these days you might see Mario, Yoshi, or Kirby depicted on their little tiles, wreathed in flowers. Perhaps the bright organic iconography of Mario's early adventures, the fire flowers and piranha plants, the stars and coins and mushrooms, owe something to these relics of Nintendo's 1800s history.